Alright, welcome back to Soup to Nuts. So in this video, we got a project to do. We're replacing the bedroom slide-out floor. So for a while, we've known that we needed to replace the floor in our camper. But we're always like, oh, we'll wait till the spring. Well, Steve came out this morning and pulled on some of the underneath and water came out. How that water is getting in there, we have no idea. But we need to replace it. Before he gets his hernia operated on, he won't be able to lift anything and I won't be able to do it. So we're going to do it and hopefully get it fixed. So this is the damage that's underneath our slide in the bedroom.
After 13 years?
Yeah, something like that.
So it's time to replace it. And it looks like I have plenty of room to replace right there too.
And we thought it was thick board, but it's just like a glue-on with
styrofoam.
Styrofoam. But our concern right now is how we're going to keep the slide. Either we detach the slide inside and close it, replace the floor like that, or do it out here, because we still have to undo all those screws along here.
So I think if we just take the screws off the bottom here and these 4 bolts on the inside, and we'll create legs to hold this portion of the slide up and put it on 2 legs with the jacks, and we should be good.
All right, so we got the 1-ton jack, and we had made a ramp for the dogs, but I was like, oh, let's use that. So that is going to hold up our slide so that if we need to jack it up or whatever, we can. I just unscrewed all the little screws that were there. There's only 4 of them. So now we got to go inside and unscrew these lag bolts. And that's what's holding it in. So let's hope we don't screw this up. Just getting the bolts out. Because that's the slide mechanism.
Okay, now just bump the slide in.
Slide in.
Take it on in. Keep going, it's just here. That's it?
Yeah, our angle iron isn't going to let us get past the lip there. So now we're going to have to undo those so we can get the board out.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, instead of taking the front angle iron off, we decided to unbolt the mechanism and moved it over so we could just get it all out of the way. Well, we had to push the slide in, and you probably saw us doing that, so we can get these last screws. Do you think we'll be able to work with it inside, or are we going to have to push it back out? Because that's going to be a little scary.
It will be scary. Because I can't separate the wall here. That's what I was hoping to do, was separate. There's no screw here, is there? No, can't be.
No. Well, I'm wondering if we can just cut it out like how we did that floor.
That's what I'm thinking we're going to have to do.
So you just saw Steve cutting out that white piece of metal. I mean, not metal, but the board. And we had a killer time trying to get it in at first because we cut it a little too long and we couldn't get it all the way back in, so we had to pull it all the way back out. And once Steve cut a side a little bit shorter, it was easier to come in. I mean, it was easier to push it all the way through. So now what we got to do is finish putting this in, at least we can put the foam and the boards and everything in here, because it's like 30 something degrees out, like 37 degrees out. 36 degrees. So luckily we got this in. We spent a couple of days not working on it because it was raining and yucky out, and it's still yucky out, but we got to get it done anyways. So Steve was looking for some tools because there's some screws on these lips in the back that we need to get out because
we can't slide the plywood under there if they're there.
Yeah.
And it's just the way, when they built this, of course the slide out is out for the manufacturer, so they built this bottom floor and they put it all together. They sandwiched everything together outside of the slide out. We don't have the ability to do that, and they put some screws from the top down into the plywood. So when we got the plywood out, the screws remained, and so I'm just going to cut them off. There's other ways that I can fasten this and make it more secure than what they did. The screws are really serving no purpose at all. So
yeah.
So I'm just going to cut them off, and we'll slide the plywood in. So what had happened was, the floor of the slide out, as you look at it from outside and underneath, had like a tarp material, and unbeknownst to us, there was a piece of Luan that was glued to the tarp. So we had water intrusion over the last 13 years, and that Luan rotted. And it just felt spongy and rotten under there. And when I pulled it down, you could see how they put it together. The Luan and the tarp, no structural purpose whatsoever. It was just a protectant. So we're going to give this some structure and some better protectant than what the manufacturer did. So when you're working on your fifth wheel, this is a small slide. It probably weighs a couple 100 pounds. We had to use some floor jacks and some braces on the outside so just the two of us could work on it. But you can do this with a little patience and still stay married. So we'll just press on and knock this out.
Add on to it, Steve, with the Luan and the mushy stuff was really, we were feeling the styrofoam, right?
Well, there was styrofoam, and then around the outside they had some plywood that was glued together that they used for braces, and that also had water intrusion, and they were pretty rotten. So we made new ones of those, and we're going to replace that. And I don't know if we want to waterproof them or not, because what we put in here is actual like shower stall plastic, and that'll serve a better purpose, and we should have very little to no water intrusion through this. So unless we miss putting some sealant somewhere.
We came and caulked, as you can see, all around here. So that way we get no water, hopefully. No, we won't get no water. But we got that caulked. Now we're going to get ready to glue these boards in. And hopefully get finished with this floor so we can put our camper back together. So he's just got his glue.
There's that one.
And that's all we're doing. It's just putting down a nice bead of glue. And what kind of glue are we using?
We're using the Gorilla Heavy Duty Construction Adhesive.
We're just going to do this on all four sides.
I got this middle rail sitting right on the slide out rail underneath there. So when we're putting this down, it's just going to be important that these are not above the rails. We want them flush. So the
top board.
Yeah, so the top board will just slide over. So we'll have to manipulate it a little bit, but it'll be okay. So you'll see how quick this goes together. We might need that other thing of glue, but we'll see if we can get by with this. Okay, next board please. And I know which sides that we want up and down, so this one gonna fit right in there. And just a rag or something for my hand would be perfect. Now you can see this one over here on this side is up, but it's going to move. So we can put that in place, and then we can put some screws right in there, and we'll probably do that here in just a second on this guy, just to get him to get him squared around a little bit. So, oh, I see, because he's warped. So, yeah, so we can twist him around and get the Kreg screws in there and everything, and he'll be good to go. Actually, we'll just go ahead and put these styrofoams in while we're right here. We don't need a lot of glue for them. And it's a good thing we don't need a lot of glue, because that's it. Okay, now this has a shiny side and just a plain styrofoam side. I'm just going to put the shiny side down, and I'm hoping this one looks pretty rectangular, so he should go right in here with no problem. Just push it right down. And then this one, because they didn't make the frame straight, we had to cut. And I can't remember how he's cut. I'm hoping this way. Sure looks this way. Oh, good guess. Oh, I need the screws back here.
Did you only do one screw?
Yep. Because it's warped and twisted. So you see how that's kind of popped up right there?
Yeah.
So just when we put the...
Hopefully when we put the board in.
There. That dude is not going anywhere. We have to see how far we're going to have to move this sled. So what I'm going to have you do is just grab that side and tip it down flat. Just lay it right down flat. Oh, my end will go in over yours.
Mine's pretty tight.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let me look at my end down here, because if we have to shave some off.
Mine is right up on the edge.
Mine's got a long ways to go over here. So what we'll do is just take that hammer right in the middle of the board and just tap it my way.
Okay.
Take a look at it.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, it's after the wall.
You're looking at the little channel.
Yeah.
Okay, so push, tap, just tap a little bit with the hammer on your corner, this corner in. Go ahead. Hang on. I felt like it was. So we got the wood in, and we're sandwiching it all together with 1.5" Kreg screws. So I probably could have shaved a little off the board. There was a little bit of bow in there, but it's nothing that I'm ever going to have to worry about. So Angie's just getting the screws in. Last couple. And then we'll lay carpet over that. Nobody will see it. Nobody will know.
Well, we got the carpet cut out, traced out from the old one. As you can tell, it doesn't match, but we really don't care. It's just on the side of the bed that you really don't see. And you can hear in the background, you got the air compressor. We're going to get ready to staple it in. And then we're going to put the bed slide back down. That'd be nice to get that out of the way. And then we still have to drill the holes to hold it in right there. And then we'll bolt it in. And hopefully, I see that screw is not in the way.
Pick it up.
So all we did was have to lift up this and put it over the bolts that we left in the floor. So we're just gonna retighten it back down.
That's kind of weird.
What? Oh, it's much higher?
It's not much higher. We have to figure out the left right. You know what I'm saying?
Nope. And it looks weird because look how it's down at an angle. So we're just putting on the last electrical stuff for the slide, and then now it's the fun part of drilling the holes to put the slide connected to.
Run the slide out until I holler at you. Stop. Grab that board. Come here. And all you have to do is start them. You don't have to run them down.
Looky there, folks.
New slide out floor.
And that's how you put a floor in without taking the slide out. At least that's how we did it. Doesn't mean that's the correct way, but that's one way. So we're just measuring to see how much of the slide needs an adjustment, if any.
It's not bad. It's got to slide this way a little bit, but it's not bad.
But here's the bolts that we put in just a few seconds before. And we have to put 4 more screws.
We've got the new screws in there. If you want to grab them, I'll put them in real quick.
Folks, this whole time we've been putting our camper together, it has only been in the 30s. The high freaking 30s. So it's taken us a little bit longer to put it together because some days we didn't want to come out in the cold and work on it. I don't know where we left off, but we got the wall all adjusted to how it's supposed to be. Now we just need to reassemble and put the bed back on, and hopefully we will be done. Alright, we got the box around. Now we're just gonna fix the furring strips so we can put the partition down, so we can put the to cover all this up, and then we'll be good to go.